As some of you may know, I quit my sales job about 4 months ago to go full-time on my YouTube channel and business. Now, 4 months later, was it really worth it? In this video, I'll be talking about what I've learned, things that I would have done differently, and crucially, what can you learn from my experience if you were to do the same thing? Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Average to Epic. My name's Will, and I help you get clear about what it is you want to do in life and how to create the life of your dreams. So if you like the video, click like, click subscribe below, click that bell notification as well, and let's get straight into it. I have made a number of videos where I have said you should quit your job and go and follow your passion, and that's exactly what I did. Now, I can now see that actually it's not quite that simple, and it does depend on a number of different factors. So what has happened to me over the past 4 months? Good question. So my videos have got better. Maybe you've noticed I have had some feedback and comments as well. I've got more of a structure in place. I have been consistently making more videos, and I'm a bit clearer about how things are sort of fitting into place long term. However, I have had a lot of downtime. I've been on holiday, I've been relaxing, I've been chilling out a lot as well, and I haven't really achieved as much as I wanted to achieve, and certainly as I should have achieved. So, as inspirational as it sounds, go all in on your dreams, follow your passions, I can now see that actually it might not be the best approach. So now I'm going to talk about the 3 biggest lessons that I have learned so far from this crazy journey. So the first key lesson for me was that I was in an employee mindset, and I still maybe am to a certain extent now as well. This has probably been one of the biggest obstacles that I have faced when transitioning out of a job into my own business, and I think many people suffer with the same issues as well. And it all comes down to your identity. How do you see yourself? I saw myself as an employee who worked for someone else, who was paid by someone else, who just had to turn up and someone would essentially tell me what to do. So being an entrepreneur is obviously the opposite from that. Everything is on you. So I had the wrong identity, and I certainly had to change that identity. If you do want to find out more about your identity and how to shift that, I did recently make a video on that. You can check that out right here. So for example, I really struggled with structure. So for example, when you have a job, you know what time you have to go to that job, you know when your lunch is, you know what time you finish, you probably have weekends off, and you have a set number of days per year that you can book off for holiday. Now, when you show up late or you don't show up at all, you've got this fear that you'll be in trouble or you might even be fired. You essentially have this accountability. Someone's keeping an eye on you, right? When you try to do it yourself, I lacked that structure. So for example, I didn't set my alarm clock for quite some time because I thought, it's fine, I'll just wake up and then I'll crack on with work. That didn't work. It's so easy to just lie in bed and have a lie-in, right? Because you don't have that person keeping you accountable. So that was a big thing that I really, really struggled with, and I probably wasted a bit too much time because of that. And the second element to this also was persistence. So when you have a 9-to-5 job, you essentially only work those hours, right? The evenings, you tend to switch off and chill out. Weekends, you can have that time off as well. And I was still kind of doing that. I'd do some work for the day. There you go, I'm done now, fantastic. The issue is you cannot do that. If you're building your own business, particularly at the start, it's hard work and you have to put in extra work. And I was not really doing that. I was used to sort of coasting along a little bit, which I think, to be honest, that's what a lot of us do in jobs. We do the sort of bare minimum and then we can switch off outside work. Now, you do hear people say, certain entrepreneurs and people, motivational people say that you have to work 15 hours a day and 20 years you have to grind and you have to hustle, and I think Elon Musk has not had a weekend off for 12 years or something like that. I don't necessarily believe in that. I certainly want to create some sort of balance, but it's clear that I have to put in more work than the bare minimum. So the second biggest lesson was that I didn't have a plan. So around that time, and probably for years to be honest, I've been watching these motivational videos, particularly with these sort of American guys that say, you know, quit your job, go all in, follow your dreams, and all this sort of stuff. So that's what I did, but I didn't really have a clear plan. So I knew I wanted to make YouTube videos, but I didn't really know how many per week, how I'd do it, when I would do it, how I would sort of eventually make some money, if I was going to coach people, how I was going to coach people. I didn't really have any of those things cemented in my mind. Now, that clearly was a mistake. Because I didn't have that clear plan, I lacked the structure, I lacked the discipline, and then of course I lacked the focus, because I didn't really know what to focus on. So with me particularly, maybe you're different, but I can be very lazy, right? If I don't clearly know what I'm doing every single day, then it's easy not to do anything. So that was definitely a big thing that I learned as well. The only caveat that I would use is it's so easy, I've done the same, and it's so easy to go too far the other way, where you spend your life planning, you spend the next 5 years planning. Don't do that. You know, come out with a plan that's good enough for now, spend a bit of time, and then you need to take action. And number 3, I wasn't making any money from the business. So I was telling people that I was a coach and I was a YouTuber until the cows came home. But the truth is I didn't really have anything set up. It was more at this stage wishful thinking. But since then I've read a book called Overlap by Sean McCabe. And essentially what Sean says is that you should work on your side hustle on the side while you still have the safety net of having a job. And then only when that business is at a stage that it can support you financially, it can cover all your bills, then you should go full time. I think that absolutely makes sense, because at that stage, once you've built a business up to a certain stage, you've been through all the sort of trial and error, you know that it works, you already have money coming in, you have a structure in place, and crucially, you have proof that you're good enough to do it. I think that's a big thing that I struggled with, and also do struggle with sometimes. Can I actually do this? Am I good enough to do this? At that stage, you've got so much proof and evidence that you can do it. I think that's sort of a really good time to go full time on a business and make sense. So I'd certainly check out his book if you're thinking of doing the same thing. So as you may be able to see, this has been a massive roller coaster of emotions, to say the least. However, this does remind me of a comment that someone once said, that entrepreneurship is one of the biggest lessons that you can ever have in personal growth. And I have to agree with that. I have learned more about myself, about my limiting beliefs, about my insecurities, and about what makes me tick in the last 4 months than I probably have in the last 2 years combined. So it's certainly been a crazy journey, but one that I'm pleased I took, and one that I'm hopefully going to carry on with for the rest of my life. So I certainly don't regret what I did at all. However, if I could go back, I'd probably do things slightly differently. And if you're in a similar position where you're thinking of quitting your job and going full time on your business or side hustle, this is what I would do. Timing is everything. So if you quit your job too early, before the business is established and has some money coming in and you're very clear about how things are going, then you'll constantly be on the back foot and you'll be stressed out about money like I was. However, if you leave it too late, so I know some people who already have a good business, are already making money from their business, could have quit their job maybe 6 months ago, but they're just fearful. Maybe it won't work out. Maybe this is a flash in the pan. So you need a balance. Don't quit too early, but don't quit too late either. So again, if you haven't read the book Overlap, do check it out. That does give you a bit more of clarity and a bit more of a plan about what you can do there. And ultimately, you need some sort of exit strategy. So you need to know what milestones you will hit when you will then quit your job. So maybe you want to be making let's say £3,000 per month from your business. Once you hit that figure, then you're gone, right? If that's the case, great, but just be wary of waiting for the perfect time and the perfect opportunity and the perfect plan, because that doesn't exist. So have your exit strategy, and timing is everything. Secondly, you should have money behind you. So one reason why I haven't been too stressed, luckily, is because I did have some money saved and that has kept me going. However, if you quit and you're living paycheck to paycheck, that would be very, very tough. So normally what I say, this is what I did personally, and I would say to anyone, if you could work out your monthly expenses and then you can save up at least 6 months so you can keep going. If you don't make a penny for 6 months, you can still survive. That's probably the best thing to do. So make sure there's some money behind you before you quit your job and you go all in on your business. And thirdly, test the concept first. So work on your business while you still have your job in the evenings and the weekends. This is the best thing to do. And then by the time you get to the stage where you know that the business has grown a little bit, hopefully you're making some money already, but at least you've proven the concept. You know that there's something there that people want, you're solving a problem, and it just makes a lot more sense. The kind of opposite from what I did essentially. However, be prepared to work. So this was a pitfall that I fell into. It's easy to think, oh, I'll just work on my day job for the day and then I'll work on my business at night. The truth is, most people aren't willing to do that. I was not willing to do that. You do have to make sacrifices. So you have to give up evenings, you have to give up weekends. And I get it, people don't want to do that, but it's something you kind of have to do initially, at least, to test that this business works. Then you can go full time. Then hopefully you can have a bit more time to yourself. Okay, everyone, so that is my story. Do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a comment below with any questions that you may have or any topics that you want me to make a video about next. Click like, click subscribe below, click that bell notification as well so you'll be notified for any future videos. And I will see you next time. Take care, all the best. Bye-bye.